3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
All right, welcome to Roots of Reality. I'm your host, Ben Baumann, and today I'm going to be talking about the history of living fossils. So, when you look at the age of our planet Earth, it is about 4.5 billion years old. And for most of our planet's history, life has existed, going back around 3.7 billion years ago. Since then, though, life has obviously changed quite a bit due to evolution, with life gaining more complexity over time. However, one fascinating aspect of life is how some species of life on Earth today physically are still quite similar to their ancestors who lived millions of years ago. And because of this, some call these creatures living fossils. And some examples include species like coelacanths, which are a type of fish that has been around for over 400 million years. And this fish can be found in the Indian Ocean today, where it feeds on squid and octopus. And then there are also crinoids, which have existed over 500 million years. And these creatures are related to starfish and kind of look like a combination of a plant and spider crawling across the ocean floor. Additionally, they also have these tentacles that they use to eat food particles and live in many different types of ocean environments. And crinoids for me are a bit of a hometown favorite because their fossils can be found all over the limestone formations where I'm from, originally in eastern Kansas, representing the time when Kansas was covered by the ocean about 300 million years ago. And if someone is really interested in being able to visualize just how much the planet has changed when it comes to the continent formations and where the ocean is, etc., there is actually even a great website called dinosaurpictures.org, which allows you to see essentially a 3D image of Earth from different time periods, millions of years ago. And finally, probably one of the most familiar living fossils to people today are, of course, crocodiles, which have been around about 200 million years and can be found in several parts of the world. I mean, when you look at a crocodile, in many ways, it does kind of just look like, what many have historically visualized dinosaurs to look like, based on the scales and the mouth. And so this is a fascinating aspect of life on Earth, because living fossils are a reminder of just how much life hasn't changed. And that when it comes to our planet's history, hundreds of millions of years ago, isn't actually that long ago. Because when you look at the time scale and the history of Earth, you're looking at about 4.5 billion years. So going back a few hundred million really isn't much. And if you look at the time scale of the entire universe, which is about 13.8 billion years, then even Earth, at 4.5 billion years old, is not even half of our universe's history. So ultimately, this could be really interesting to reflect on as a species, as Homo sapiens, because our species has existed about 300,000 years. And when you see the different ancestors of Homo sapiens, and you look at how long, similar species of humans have existed, no one goes back to the time scale of hundreds of millions of years. Most different species of humans, you think about Neanderthals or Homo erectus, they're older than us, but they're not nearly at the time scale that you see with the different types of crocodiles or coelacanths or crinoids or other living fossils around the world today, like horseshoe crabs, for example. And so I guess this is something that makes it really interesting to reflect on as a species, because then you can just start to really think about the fact that we are actually relatively young as a species, despite the fact that we've existed for about 300,000 years. that's really only a fragment of time when it comes to the history of life. And so we may think that we are better than other species because of our sheer intelligence. But when it comes to survival, Homo sapiens and other human species that have existed really have not proved yet that we're a species that can be around for millions and millions of years, or that other humans will be around for millions and millions of years. So always an interesting thing to reflect on, because in many ways, when you look at the history of life on Earth, I think it's kind of a humbling experience for us to reflect on as our own species and how long we've been around. And people need to remember, when especially dealing with problems that we face when it comes to our planet, that, once upon a time, planet Earth was without human beings. And so if we want to stay here and continue to make progress, we need to make sure that we're taking care of the planet that we're on, that we take care of each other. Because species come and go in our planet's history all the time. And though certainly I don't think people are on the verge of extinction or anything like that, we have to still remember that 300,000 years for us, and a few 100,000 years or more, or even 1,000,000 years for other species of humans that have existed, really just isn't that much. So with that, as always, remember, billions of years led to you, so make the most of it.